Hey everyone, welcome to another video. As you can see, I'm still staying in Atlanta right now. This is the second day after my surgery, so I can't really do much today. I mean, I'm walking around a lot and I might go to the mall later just to window shop, but I can't really do too much right now. So I'm being stubborn and I'm making my mom mad because I keep trying to do too much on my own. But let's go ahead and I just want to play with some makeup, do some filming to pass the time because it's kind of boring, you know? So I'm gonna start off with my Victoria Beckham Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer. I'm not sure if it really does anything. Like, it's mostly a price issue. Like, I feel like for the price, I don't know how much I think it's worth it. So to my surprise, I didn't actually get a breakout in the hospital, which I totally thought would happen because it's just such a weird environment and I'm getting operated on with all these medications. I thought I would come home and my face would just be like so many red spots, but actually it wasn't too bad. It ended up just being, I came home and my skin was kind of dry. I had like one angry neighbor pop up on the side of my head, but it's already starting to go away. So I'm definitely glad that it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I was kept at the hospital overnight, so that was interesting. I thought it would be boring, but as it turns out, the pain meds I was on just kept me like, I just kept falling asleep over and over again. So I ended up just passing the time just like sleeping the whole time, which I guess is fine. Could be, I guess you could consider a major surgery. It doesn't really feel too major because it was laparoscopic, so the incisions are like, you know, that big. It doesn't feel like as major as like an open surgery where they like just completely slice you open. But since it was on my abdomen, I guess it could be called, it was a pretty big surgery, I guess. And if I sound really hoarse, it's because when you're under anesthesia, you are intubated and your throat will be very irritated afterwards and it can just take a couple days to go away. That's why I sound really strange, but it is temporary. So I was going to see if I could go run to like a Publix or a drugstore or something to get a makeup sponge. That hasn't happened yet for pretty obvious reasons. So I'm still gonna be using my Hourglass stick foundation with a brush and just pray that it works. And because I didn't clip my bangs back, I'm not gonna put any foundation on my forehead because it's not like you can see it anyways. And then I'm just gonna take my Hello Kitty brush that I used in the last video and blend it out as best I can. Yeah, so you can see most of my red spots are covered. I like initially had all the makeup in like the other room and my mom had to help me move it all, and in the process I got these clips back, so now I can clip my bangs out of the way. I'm still not going to put any foundation on my forehead though because I don't feel like it. So now I am going to put on some concealer. Now in this lighting, if I'm looking straight on, you can't see it, but the moment I tilt my head you can absolutely see there are some dark circles. I forgot to bring my Clinique concealer brush, which don't ask me how that happened, but in the meantime I'm just going to use this rougher brush, which actually works really well. Oh, and if I seem a little bit like spacey or like just acting like a little bit dumber than normal, I am currently still taking prescription pain medications because like literally I'm still right out of surgery. Yeah, now you can see when I look down there's substantially less dark circles showing because they got covered, mostly covered anyways. And now I'd like to move on to my bronzer contour, so I'm going to use my Terra stick. I did bring both my Westman Atelier and M stick, and I'm just going to use the M stick today. And I think I put on a little bit too much because you can kind of see like a dirty line. So I'm going to take my foundation brush and kind of tap, 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 see if I can blend it out a little bit better. It looks a lot better now. I'm going to put on my blush first and I'm going to make the eyeshadow match to it. I always hate going that way. Like I usually prefer to go eyeshadow and then blush, but I think I'll do blush and then eyeshadow and just make it match. So I'm going to use the M So Soft Stick in Lychee. This is just a pretty standard pinky color. And then I'm just gonna again take the same brush that I used for the foundation just to make sure I didn't put on too much. And I'm trying to not rub too much. I'm just trying to focus on like stippling and tapping to make it blend so that I don't take off my base. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into my eyebrows. I believe the only thing I brought with me was really just my brow blade because it has both pen and pencil, and so it's just easy for me to just bring one brow pen instead of a bunch. The shade is called Dark Drapes. And I'll talk more about the details of my surgery when I am back in my own house, and I will have the time to actually like make a framework of what I'm going to discuss and stuff. If I were to try and just discuss it off the cuff, I would be here for like 5 hours, so I really need to make sure I narrow it down into a more succinct story. So for now you're just getting some vague details, so just bear with me. Yeah, I think this is fine. I don't want to go like too much. I always end up going too much, but you know, you can try. The left one is a little bit crazy, but that's okay. And pen side. Okay, the brows are on. I should have applied eye primer before I put on my brows, but I still do need to powder my face, so I'll just put on my Rare Beauty eye primer really quickly. I did also bring the P. Louise eye primer, but I don't think I'm doing anything too terribly crazy today, so and it has like some slight pigmentation to it as well, so it's really nice. Okay, I'm gonna powder my face, and for that I'm gonna use my Kogen Do Brightening Moisture Powder. As usual, it just is in the shade Beige. I do, as I've said before, I do really want to get the brightening pink eventually. I just haven't really had the spare coin for it. So I was thinking of waiting for the next Beautylish gift card sale, and I'll catch up on my Beautylish queue then. This is, as I've mentioned, one of my favorite powders in the winter when I feel like I need it. It really is just a beautiful powder. And then some setting spray. My D'Alba as usual. I like this a lot, it's really nice. I have a couple other setting sprays I want to try, but I have like two backups of this, so I feel like I don't need to. Now let me decide what I want to do for the eyes. I think I really want to use the Nars Climax palette. So this has sold out on me twice, and finally, the first time it was available, I like didn't really think much of it, and I was like, I can't do it. But then I kind of wanted it, but by then it had sold out. So then it restocked for the second time, and I was telling myself, okay, maybe I'll buy it this time. But then again, it sold out from under me, and I was like, oh, well now I'm actually kind of sad that I missed out. Well, to my surprise, it restocked a third time, and I was like, okay. So I got the palette here. You can see it's so pretty. I do think this is very comparable to one of Pat McGrath's quads from like last year or something. But in the meantime, this definitely is really different for Nars, and it is why it is currently the only Nars eyeshadow palette I own, because it's the only one that really caught my attention. It looks really nice. So I'm gonna start off, there are shade names on the back, but like I'm lazy. So I'm just gonna start off with the shade right here. And I've never tried a Nars shadow before, so we'll see how this goes. I know Temptalia said this was a really great palette, so I trust her. I'm using Rephr 27. I'm gonna try and start describing the brushes I'm using, so that way you guys will know, and if you guys were interested in buying any of them, you could, you know, search them up online. Oh wow, this is really pretty. This reminds me of Wedge, but it's cooler. That must be why I like it so much, because I do really like the color Wedge a lot. And now I'm gonna be using Lunar Beauty LBE3, and I'm putting this on the lower lash line. Now I really want to play around with this green right here. It's kind of muddy looking on top of the brown, but it still looks like a very just dark, dirty green. So it's still really cool. I could see this easily turning into like a bruise look. So I guess just, you know, be careful. Yeah, you can kind of see some green in there. I feel like this shade would of course look a lot better on like its own without any brown underneath, but it's one of those things where like I should have kept the brown just right up here on my orbital socket area and then put the green below. Okay, now I do want to add some depth, so I'm going to use this dark brown here. Yeah, that adds a lot of depth. Yeah, it looks pretty cool so far. I feel like it got a little bit muddy, but okay, we can work with it. So I'm gonna just go back in and kind of just make sure everything is super blended out, because I have a couple of harsh edges here and there. And then going back in with my LBE3 from Lunar Beauty, I am going to go back into the green and just make sure I tidy up any potential bald spots from where my fluffier brush missed. Just making sure I got everything. Definitely super dramatic, that's for sure. Yeah, you can probably tell my makeup isn't like the greatest it's ever been either because I'm just still kind of tired. Yeah, I think if I were to go back and do this look again, I would go in with the green first because the green kind of mixed with that brown color and made mud. Now it still kind of has that nice grunge look to it, but I definitely can see like it would have looked a lot better if I had just done the green first, so my bad, that's okay. So I do really want to play around with at least one of these shimmers, so of course I'm going to go into this one here. Putting this on top should kind of introduce the green back, and then it'll show up again. And I've never used a Nars shimmer before, so again, this is all new to me. I have used a Nars makeup palette before called Make Up Your Mind, and it seemed alright. I wasn't very good at eyeshadow then, so I can't say for sure whether it was good or not because I got it when I was like a total noob. And I did eventually just stop using it. Like I just never used it more than a couple times and then it just kind of was ignored, so I ended up selling it. This is really pretty though. Now, no, of course I'm using my finger, which is kind of my preferred method for shimmers anyways. If you guys prefer a different method like a brush, I don't necessarily know how these would perform with a brush because I haven't tried it yet. But with a finger, this is really pretty. Now it does look more kind of textured and dimensional in the pan than on my finger, but it still looks really pretty on the lid. I do want to use this single from ColourPop. It's called Balloon Pop. I do want to use this on my inner corner and on my under lash line just because I haven't really ever used my Super Shock shadows often at all. And so I just want to give them a little bit of love. I just thought, why not, you know? It's very, very pretty, that's for sure. And just kind of tap it out. Now this does actually kind of shift pink more than I thought it would. It looked more like champagne, but it actually kind of has a subtle pink shift to it, but that actually complements the green really well. So I actually really like the effect it gives. And I do think I could use just a little more something on top of everything. So I'm going to, let me think. I'm gonna take JACLYN Cosmetics Icicle. It's the shimmering top coat. And I'm just gonna dab just a little bit of this on. And so I'm gonna use a brush. Now I haven't used a brush with this yet for my upper lash line, so I don't know how much is gonna really even come off, but her website does say it can be used with a brush, so don't be making up lies, girl. I'm just gonna tap some of this on the center for a little toppery effect. Yeah, there we go. And I don't need it to be super opaque, I just needed it to, you know, at least just show up on my lid. So the eyes at this point are, I would call these done. I think these look great. I'm gonna put on some mascara on my lower lashes, and then I'm gonna put on some false lashes because this look needs them really. I have Yuri on Ice song stuck in my head right now, I don't know why. I have this sample size of Nars Climax Extreme that I got as a kind of a small little gift with purchase when I got the Climax palette. I thought I would try it, I mean, you know. So I'm just gonna do it on my lower lash lines. My lower lashes. So it's not uncommon for mascaras right out of the tube to look kind of garbage on me. So I'll probably let this sit for like a month and then I'll try it again. Also, I feel like my eyelashes fell out while I was in the hospital because they're like really thin now. Yeah, this isn't doing much for my lashes, but it's also brand new. And I think this is one of those mascaras that will get better with age. I'll just let this sit for a little bit. I have some doe lashes I want to try, and I think the first one I'm going to try is Morning Dew. So these are the 2.0 lashes from Doe Lashes, which means if you've been following their Instagram at all, you'll know that they have been in the process of, first off, they had to like change manufacturers, and second off, they had to increase their prices. So because they're increasing prices, they were like, let's go ahead and just make it improved. So the band is, so they claim that it's improved now, you can wear it more times, and that it just generally is better quality and more comfortable. So that way the price raise can at least feel like it's kind of worth it. So I'm going to be using Morning Dew in 2.0, and I'm going to see how this looks on my eyes. I am really excited personally because I personally love Doe Lashes like a lot. I feel like it's my new favorite lash brand these days, so I'm super excited. The only problem is these are kind of hard to get off. You have to be really careful because they made the band a lot thinner now. I feel like one of the consequences of that is that it's harder to take it off. It like kind of died a little bit at the end. You can kind of see here. See how the edges, the very last part was like sort of dead, but that's okay. I forgot scissors, so I'm just gonna have to put these on without trimming them, and hopefully they look okay. The band certainly does feel a lot more flexible and a lot more bendyable. I don't know if that's gonna be a good or a bad thing for me. Okay, that's one pair on, and they definitely feel very comfortable. I can definitely tell already just wearing them that like the new band is indeed very comfortable to wear. They claim you can wear this longer than the other version 1.0 pairs, but that kind of confuses me because it's like the band is so thin and delicate. I feel like it shouldn't last as long. Yeah, that kind of confuses me a little bit because I feel like when they're really thin like this, they wear out quicker. So this is gonna be Morning Dew 2.0. I feel like they don't open my eyes up as much as the thicker band does, which, I mean, if you have monolids, it makes perfect sense. But so I'm going to take the, I hope this is dark enough, I'm gonna take the Extreme Gelpresso liner. I have this in the shade 01, supposedly pretty dark. As I've mentioned before, this range doesn't actually carry a single black, which is very interesting. But I'm just gonna use this to draw some wings. They're not super long or anything, it's just kind of to make sure that my eyes are a little bit more lifted. And then I put it on my inner corners too. Yeah, personally I feel like the version 2.0, it doesn't really improve the shape of my eyes like the other ones did. Like I feel like my eyes, the other doe lashes would make my eyes look longer and a little bit more upturned and a little bit more open, versus this one the changes are a lot more minimal because the thin band means it really, my monolids can really push against it much better, and so the lashes are not going to really like push up my eyelids as well. But other than that though, like I will say the comfort is absolutely on another level. These are like so much more comfortable. So, you know, depending on your preference, the comfort might be worth the exchange in how like flattering it is. That's completely up to you. I just realized my face is a different color than my neck. I thought I had gotten my matching shade when I got this stick foundation in Porcelain, but I might have to go up a shade next time, which is fine because I actually have already used quite a bit of it. Okay, so I'm gonna put on some highlighter and some extra blush because that's due. I'm gonna use Nude Pop. This is very similar in shade to the California Love from Too Faced, but I thought I would use this instead just because it's a little bit more shiny. Thought it might be good to have a little bit more shine. Nude Pop is very, very light, so I always have to really dig in when I use it. But you know, enough layers, it'll eventually get there. That's one of the reasons why this is one of the few cheek pops I own where it feels like the flower is being worn off the fastest, just because whenever I use it, I do have to use quite a bit. Now it's building on top of the M Cosmetics blush, and I don't want to completely cover that up. I just want to make sure it's a little bit more nude colored. Whenever I feel like I want to buy more stick blushes, I always end up reminding myself that if I put it on, it's often covered up at the end anyways. So maybe I need to just stop buying them. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, it's good to kind of keep it a little bit more subtle because the eyes are pretty heavy. I feel like it looks really bad on the viewfinder. I don't know, my whole face looks like really weirdly shaped. Is it just me? I'm gonna use the Pat McGrath Bridgerton highlighter right here. It's in the shade Incandescent Gold 002. That's what it's called. I had to find it. It was like at the very bottom. And I'm just gonna sweep this across my cheekbones. The golden undertones will definitely match up with the green eyeshadow. And I'm not using too much, and it's being applied pretty diffusely, so it's not like I'm creating some sort of really intense stripe. I'm just applying it very loosely. And then I'm gonna use my finger and put some on my nose. I'm just trying to make my nose look higher. And then I am gonna take a little bit just kind of under my brow. It really just kind of helps bring the look to life because it creates a lot of contrast. Okay, all that's missing is lips. Now my lips are a little bit dry, so I'm going to line my lips, overline a little bit. I'm using JACLYN Cosmetics in Blondie, and I'm just going to try my best to make sure that my lips look a little bit bigger. Now, of course, my dumb self didn't bring a sharpener, and this one needs to be sharpened. Oh well. Lips should be looking a little less small now. I'm going to use my YSL the Slim Glow Matte in 205. I think I might have used this once already. Either way, I find that the lipsticks that YSL makes in the slim formulas almost always are in certain variations of red, orange, brown red or something like that, so they all end up looking super similar. So I don't know why I have such a collection, but I'm just gonna hot it on. So you can see this one is more of like a bricky red. Supposedly the rectangular tip makes it easy to apply. I haven't really noticed. It is a really nice formula, that's for sure. So I mean, I enjoy having these. I do need to do a swatch party of them soon. It'll happen whenever I feel like it. I'm gonna take a little bitty brush. This is from the Morphe Jaclyn Hill. It is JH52. It's a very teeny weeny brush. I actually really like this brush, but today I'm gonna use it as a lip brush. And so then I just kind of smudged out the edges a little bit so it looks cleaner. And I always prefer when the edges are smudged out anyways. Now my hair is like super greasy now because I can't wash it because I haven't been able to shower yet. We'll just pretend that my hair looks good, right? And I forgot a bang roller. So yeah, my hair is staying up, but this is the finished look. I think this Climax palette, I'm definitely gonna film with it or just use it off camera more because I am not the biggest fan of how this look turned out. It definitely got redeemed, like, you know, we saved it, but I think it could have been a ton better. It's just mostly, I can definitely just kind of just chalk this up to me just still being a little bit out of it. My brain is like still working on getting back to firing on all cylinders. But other than that, yeah, I do really like this. The doe lashes definitely are way more comfortable now, but kind of it feels like they don't really open my eye shape the way I really would have wanted it to, like the way the version 1.0 did. So I'm kind of like, it has its pros, but it also has its drawbacks. But I think for the vast majority of people wearing lashes who don't have monolids, this is just going to be a straight up improvement for you guys. So yeah, I can definitely recommend those. I like everything else I put on my face. Everything else I put on my face was just old favorites that I've been, you know, that I packed with me and brought with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you hear any background noise, the room faces right out to the street, so the microphone is just gonna pick up on all that car noise. I'll try my best to process it out, but all right, bye-bye.